Welcome back to this series of videos that I've been putting out every single day for the last 2 weeks that are segments of videos from my membership site, fromthefield.farm. Today's video is a bit of an exception to what's been coming out over the last little bit, and this is filmed at La Ferme de Quatre, and I've got a video coming at fromthefield.farm that is a super comprehensive tour of this farm. That video is not out yet, but I wanted to put this one up in the meantime. This is me on the farm talking about the benefits of hedgerows and why you might want to put them on your farm. If you like the long form content you've been seeing over the last 2 weeks and you want to see more of it, head over to fromthefield.farm. Link is in the show notes. You can sign up for 30 days with no obligation. So if you don't like it, you can cancel, no problem. That's where I'm putting most of my content these days. So if you're curious about that, it's highly educational. It's all long form and super detailed. I hope you join me there. All right, enjoy this video. I'm here standing next to one of the hedgerows on this farm, and it's almost one of the defining features of this farm that not only make it beautiful but also provide some benefits to the farm itself. And in this video I just want to talk about some of the benefits of hedgerows and why you might want to consider putting them on your farm. So one of the first reasons that you would want to put a hedgerow in here would be to increase the biodiversity of the insects and the birds on the farm. And just by listening here, you can hear an incredible amount of insect and bird life. And there's no doubt that this is creating a different type of habitat for bugs and birds that would be predators for potential pests on the farm. And that's certainly happening. Now, can we quantify that on this farm after 5 years running? I'm not exactly sure, but I can tell you just by my observation and being here, the amount of bird and bug life here is incredible, and the biodiversity that comes from it is very obvious when you spend at least an hour on this farm. The second reason you might consider putting something like this on your farm, and it's probably the primary reason that most people historically have done hedgerows, is these act as windbreaks. So these will actually break up wind as it comes in, and it will slow it down on the vegetables. So all of these hedgerows are dividing every 10 bed block on this farm. So there's a block of 40 feet by 100 feet with 10 30-inch beds, 100 feet long, and then there's a hedgerow that's about 10 to 12 feet long, wide, and the same length as the block. So these are acting as windbreaks, and that's your more conventional use for a hedgerow. Third reason you might do a hedgerow is these actually capture sunlight, in that they create these little light funnels that concentrate light by light that bounces off the foliage of these plants, and it concentrates it into the block. And that's actually another very traditional and old school reason for doing hedgerows, but it's a good reason nonetheless. The fourth reason you might want to have a hedgerow on your farm is you could actually potentially get a yield from this. You could be planting small fruit trees, shrubs, perennial herbs, things that actually have a yield. You know, you could get some benefit from them. Is that necessarily the most important reason for doing this? Probably not. But there's no reason that you couldn't stack that into this function and actually get a yield or harvest from these hedgerows. Now, the fifth reason you might want to have hedgerows on your farm is you could potentially plant beneficial trees and shrubs in here that might fix nitrogen and draw in other elements that could benefit plants in here. So, I mean, this could be things like microbiology, so bringing in other biology by having a diversity of plant life around us. Of course, bugs and birds like we mentioned, but if you have nitrogen fixing plants like something like a honey locust plant, which is going to fix nitrogen in the soil, that is going to have a benefit on your field. Can I quantify that? I can't quite say, but it's certainly something to consider. And the sixth bonus reason is simply aesthetics. There is so much natural beauty to this, and it really makes the experience of being in this farm unlike any other farm. You don't really feel like you're in a farm, like you're in this big open field and you can see all around you. It creates these little interesting microclimates or zones which are very enjoyable to be in, and there's smells and there's so many beautiful things to see that aesthetic has a lot of value. If you want to have a place where you want to bring people, maybe you want to do farm tours, maybe you're educating people on your farm, or you're living here and you just want to create a beautiful environment. I think aesthetics is something that's often very overlooked, and you can't quantify it, but it is something that is valuable nonetheless. So that's our 5th and 6th reasons for making hedgerows on your farm. I hope you guys find that helpful. Hit the subscribe button, share and like the videos, and I'll see you in the next video.